On Monday, September 18th, Puerto Ricans experienced something old and something new. Residing in the heart of the Caribbean, these people have come to expect the severity of the season from June through November, the time when nature lashes out in the form of tropical storms and hurricanes. Yet, despite years of experience, every now and then nature goes beyond the most seasoned veterans' expectations. Every now and then, nature takes on the form of a Hugo. There is no hiding this island's disaster. The transformation from normalcy to catastrophe is all too obvious. The path Hugo took straight through the southern Caribbean islands into eastern Puerto Rico and then on to South Carolina left victims in cities such as Luquillo, Rio Grande, San Juan, and Fajardo.
Well, I've been here because of, a few other hurricanes that were bad, but nothing like this. Nothing like this. This scared me, really scared me. I've been living here about 30 years. I come from Cleveland, Ohio. And I was fortunately staying with some friends that had a cement house during the hurricane. But everything, in Martinillo, which is in Puerto Rico, everything was just blown away. The rooftops went first, and animals wandering around. They didn't know chickens, forget it. It was really, really something terrible.
Well, I was totally affected. The storm destroyed the roof, the back end of the house, including the ceiling, the mattresses, the walls. It destroyed everything. It was total destruction, including all my furniture. Well, you can see what's left of them.
We were totally affected by Hurricane Hugo. It was a complete loss. Everything destroyed. Our house, mine. Everyone's home was damaged.
In each of these places are citizens from an area far north, people part of an organization that has been repairing such destruction for 150 years. Volunteers from the Kent County chapter of the American Red Cross are working with thousands more nationwide in restoring Puerto Rico to its pre-Hugo state. Felix Ibarra, a volunteer from Grand Rapids, in the third week of his stay, outlines some of the devastation.
We could put one behind the maps there. This is El Yunque, which is part of the rainforest. What some Puerto Ricans have told me is that El Yunque helped block away some of the major thrust of Hurricane Hugo. But when I got here 2 weeks ago, you could see a lot of the trees in the mountainside had been turned over and uprooted. It was all brown. It almost looked like a desert.
El Yunque did not shelter all, however. Just north of the main range, in one of the smaller hillsides, we came upon a family whose home was destroyed and who were forced to take refuge in a cave.
Yeah, we'll just take you out. Hugo destroyed my house, and I had to move into the cave. I don't know when I'll be able to move into my house. I've been waiting for FEMA's inspection of my house.
The trip for any volunteer to any disaster begins locally. Back in Grand Rapids, organizers both recruit and train citizens from nearby communities.
Okay, good.
It's easy to train volunteers. It's impossible to prepare them for disaster duty. What we do is they take a series of classes. They start with a basic introduction to disaster. They learn about the Red Cross and what our philosophy is, what our goal is. Then they go into specialized classes, possibly damage assessment, family service, mass care, whatever area that they think they have an interest in, that they will specialize in on a disaster assignment. Usually we try to cross-train our volunteers so that they could serve where they're needed, so they will have several skills. The other preparation is all of our volunteers are supposed to have first aid training before they leave, just a requirement for their own well-being in case it's needed. if a volunteer is fully trained when they leave on an assignment, they will have had about 55 hours of training.
We are doing here is today having a training by Red Cross of America in order to provide some techniques how to work with these people and how to help other people in crisis or disaster. I was involved in this program because I am working with the Hispanic community in the area, and to the reason of the disaster in Puerto Rico, the agency that I'm working, that is a Project Rehab Corporation, they want to send some Hispanic person to work with the Hispanic community in Puerto Rico.
It's been very exciting to see people in our community come forward and say, I can drop what I'm doing, go right now and commit to a minimum of 3 weeks of helping people. And we've had many people come forward who are Spanish-speaking, bilingual, and this is an opportunity for them to really do something, and their gifts are those that nobody else has in terms of communication, where it's needed and helping right now. And the immediacy of the response from the people in our town and the changing of your life, just dropping everything and off I go to Puerto Rico to assist, that is a very special gift. And to me, it's been exciting to see that. And I don't like to look down the road at more hurricanes, but we know there are probably going to be more. And these people will already be trained, will be able to be assigned in a situation where we know bilingual ability is going to be very important. So it's been very gratifying.
Initially, there were a couple that did volunteer, but as I started talking to other community Hispanic leaders to get some names and generate the interest of some people that could make the commitment to go over to Puerto Rico for 3 weeks. It was interesting because it was such a great response to it. I mean, people were really responding to my phone calls, and eventually had a network of other people calling to see if they were interested. And with amazement, the staff was getting all kinds of names, and as you know, sent a lot of people to Puerto Rico. Some went to St. Croix, and now quite a few are in the Carolinas. But at least we had a good group of bilingual folks that spoke Spanish to be able to process some of the folks that were affected by the hurricane.
Shortly after their local training, one such group, including Helen Quant of Lowell, Leah Tobar, and Lupe Ocasio of Grand Rapids, flew to San Juan. Further instructions awaited these women at the disaster headquarters for Puerto Rico.
When the volunteer arrives in Puerto Rico, they arrive with all of their luggage at the airport, and usually they have several phone numbers with them. In the ideal situation, the phone number is for this office, and it's during the day, so that when they call, we can tell them what to do. In the less than ideal situation, sometimes they arrive at night, and they get the on-call person at one of the hotels. We then, depending on the time of day, will have them either go to the hotel and check in and come in the next morning, or come directly to headquarters. Whether or not they come directly to headquarters or go to their hotel first, when they do arrive at headquarters, either the next day or immediately, we process them by having them fill out several forms. They fill out one that's called a 1492A, and this form asks for basic information on the individual, their name, social security number, home address, home chapter, previous experience that they've had, and who to notify in case of emergency. They fill out a supplement to that, which is called a 1492F, and that asks for information about how much money they came with that was given to them by their chapter. We also have them fill out a health form, and once they're done with us, we send them to an orientation. The orientation lasts anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half and gives them real good information on Puerto Rico, on the job itself, how many shelters are open, what functions are doing, what jobs, where, and also gives them information on how to deal with the stress of the job, because they'll be working long, long hours every day, and it can be a stressful situation. After they've gone to orientation and have finished that, they check in with their functions, the function that they've been assigned to. For most people, that's either family service, records and reports, or mass care. once they're done with checking in with their function, they will go with their yellow health form and check in with the nurse to make sure that they are healthy enough to actually do that function, especially where they've been assigned. Some people in the different functions will be assigned to the islands, the Virgin Islands, which are even more difficult conditions than what we have here. So if there are health problems, then once they know where they're going, those can be picked up by the nurse.
160 overnight. Well, I'm going to restrict you to Puerto Rico. Blood pressure.
After they've had their health interview, they go back to their functions and they get assigned permanently then to a location to do their job.
Today was very interesting. The first training that we had, they talk about, they give us kind of idea of what the Puerto Rico and the country is, and the type of people and the do's and nots that we can do, and be very, especially very respectful to the people, and very care and kind, because they are, having a hard time right now. Then we have a talk from the nurse, who told us that it's very important for us not to get stressful. And she gave us some exercise and some ideas how to relax, because not only us can be very tired, but the people who are suffering are, they are in a very hard stage of mind right now. Some, they told us, are very angry. Some are, they're very sad, and we have to be very understanding. And it's very important to understand and to care for them. I mean, that's our purpose anyway.
I'm anxious to get started, but it was nice that they let us rest, relax a little. So I thought we were going to get at it yesterday, right after we got out of the plane. But I'm anxious, and they told us that we might be working 12 hours a day, and that's, I didn't have no other expectations. Work, come here to work, and that's what I'm here for. So I'm not disappointed, not yet.
When we arrived here, when we were coming down on the plane, I was looking at the window, and I really was expecting, I don't know, maybe because of the plane didn't came by the eye of the hurricane, the area that we came, didn't show too much damage compared with what I see in Florida. But then when we arrived in the hotel and then coming from the airport to the hotel, you can see a lot of trees and roads and homes being damaged. And people were telling us that was nothing compared with really for the part of where the eye of the hurricane went. Now tomorrow we are sending to a place named Fajardo, or district or whatever, named Fajardo, where they say that's where the really damage is. So I really exactly, we wait and see what we can do.
Well, we were at the shelter when the storm hit, and when we came back the following morning, everything was destroyed. I'm without a house. FEMA hasn't given me anything. The only help I've received has been from the Red Cross. That's to say, I haven't received help from anyone else. And the $300 that the governor was given for emergency relief, I haven't received either. I'm without a house. Look at all this. I haven't received anything. And you? Me? I've only received the $300, nothing else. I've been waiting for FEMA to come and investigate my home. I had an appointment October 3rd, and today is the 16th, and they still haven't come. I told them I was without a house. My son and I are still in refuge, staying with a friend, and well, we're still waiting for them to come. It was a complete loss. Social services helped. They gave me $300. The Red Cross gave me $135 for shoes and $275 for clothes. That's all. For now. The $300 is for emergency needs.
This used to be someone's house.
This right here?
Right here.
Oh, right here.
That used to be a house.
Where do you think those people are in the shelter?
They better be. Well, a lot of these houses have zinc roofs, and they're anchored with nails, and those zinc roofs just fly off like fly paper or like cellophane or something. You know, they just rip right off.
In the field, volunteers are divided into two groups, one of which is mass care. Here people such as Felix Ibarra and Gerald Boomstra work out of a main warehouse, delivering food and supplies to victim shelters or service centers.
About 3 skids maybe.
Why don't we put, 3 skid?
Well, we could put a skid there.
One there, but we can't block this out. You know, we can't block this out.
We could put one behind the maps there.
When I first came down, we were airlifting a lot of things to the island, St. Croix and St. Thomas. They would call in what they needed out there, and then we'd set it on a plane and we'd just fly it out to them. The last few days now I've been working on some of the shelters, bringing the supplies out to the shelters and cube trucks. They call in their orders every 4 or 5 days. We try to get them enough supplies for 4 or 5 days.
Soap and toothpaste and trash bags.
No.
So we don't even have those things.
See, they didn't. See, this is another thing I don't see how this is going to work. If they don't need this,
what are they going to do with it?
Yeah.
They're going to bring it back here, aren't they?
We had good training, and but every time you get on a disaster, you know, it's you have to sort of make up your own set of rules as to what you have to do. And in this case, it's such a big disaster and so widespread that we just have to, you know, change some of the rules as we go along. But your basic training is, you know, always seems to come back so that you know exactly what to do at the right time.
Yeah. Can I load off of here? A small cargo van?
I don't know why not. Nobody's in.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, the small one?
Yeah, it's just a small one, just a half a skid.
Got room back there?
Oh, okay, yeah, we could do that, sure. This is seek and learn. This operation, I'm told, defies all operational procedures in the past. We're in a Commonwealth of the United States where almost a different culture, different language, different norms and mores. The infrastructure of the island limits us to what we can do. There's only so many trucks that you can get in Puerto Rico, and the Red Cross must have about 95% of them. There are no more left. We only have one warehouse. The warehouse is very limiting. We weren't able to find any other facilities. So when you take that in consideration, you know, a lot of people are throwing the handbook right out the window and they're improvising. A typical day for me is getting up at 5:30 in the morning, going to the hotel, getting some breakfast. We come to the warehouse, which is located in Rios Piedras, which is about, it's about 10 miles outside of San Juan. We begin by pulling orders for the shelters that we're going to furnish that day. Then we end up loading our own trucks, which are usually these large high cube trucks, or maybe lift trucks. And we begin to map a route to the shelters that we're going to be servicing. That could be all day, and in some cases, it could be into the night. Then we come back to the warehouse and get a ride back to the hotel. Okay, right now we're heading for Santurce, which is along the ocean. It's in San Juan. We're going to be going to a school that is being used as a shelter. My information says that we have 31 babies there. There's approximately 36 families living in this shelter that we're going to. So the load that I'm bringing today is mainly a lot of Pampers, Infamil. I've got baby food, I've got baby juice, and I've got lots of drinking water. Usually what I like to do is I like to get a driver, a Puerto Rican driver, and I like to take a helper along with me. My Spanish is not very good. It's not all that hot. So I try to get someone who speaks good Spanish. If not, then that's okay. It'll just be the driver myself, like in this situation, and we make best of it. We've got like a central intake at the warehouse, and someone is receiving orders from calls that are coming in from service center personnel, from people in the DACs, and they give us an idea of how many people are in the shelters and what the needs are. This is the shelter that we're going to deliver the baby supplies to. There's about 36 families here. Right now we're looking for the shelter director so that we can show them the requisition to see if the order is correct and where we're going to put the supplies. This is what I brought with me. I brought some toilet paper, baby juice. We don't have this.
We have a new baby now.
Oh, you
she
got
born yesterday at 6 p.m.
Wow.
She don't have where to sleep.
No place to sleep here.
No.
I'm told that a baby was born in this shelter early this morning. This is the proud father. So you can see why we're bringing baby food and baby juice and formula. There's a lot of infants here. A lot. I see we've got 31.
Newborn Pampers.
You need newborn Pampers now?
Yes.
Okay. The next time you do an order, be sure to tell them that.
Yes.
Okay.
I see there are a lot of things from the American Red Cross. They supply most of the things you see here.
That's great. And they supplied the medical supplies here?
Yes, some of them.
The Red Cross did? For most of them?
Most of them.
And most of the water and the formula has come
yes.
from the Red Cross?
Yes, most of them.
These are the people that are in this...
This is a men's room.
Oh, this is a men's dormitory room? So, even though you have families here, you separate the men from the women?
Yes, up today, because we are going to change today. We are going to put them by family now.
I see.
We are going to rearrange.
I see.
But until now, we have them separate. But from now on, we are going to separate them by family.
Is this a nursery then?
No, it's not a nursery.
It's just
the mother with the children are separate. You see, everything is clean.
It's very nice. Very well organized.
They clean the room and they take care of the babies. We have babies here.
Yeah, you have lots of babies here. I see.
A lot of babies here. Here we have one with baby also. Estamos visitando la Cruz Roja. Sí, ella tuvo un dolor de barriga, realmente está llorando ahí. ¿Dolor de barriga?
Original Condado Moderno frente a la comandancia de la policía en Caguas, 743 Llevamos el carro que prefiera su domicilio.
Mira esta vaga que está aquí.
Disfruta del dulce sabor de la vida con la deliciosa y refrescante cola champán india.
She doesn't feel well?
Huh?
She doesn't feel well?
No, she doesn't feel well. Excuse me, I'm going to call her.
Nurses that are attending to the woman that's on the bed? Are these nurses? These
No,
women here?
they are teachers.
They're teachers?
And we are going to call the doctor now. Sure, they are going to see how she's
feeling.
Aquí viene del American Red Cross. Buenas tardes. We have the older person here, women.
Older women are in this room?
Ellos vienen del American Red Cross.
And how many women are in this room?
About 6.
About 6. What do people do here for most of the day? They just wait, sit?
Sit and wait. We have some, we program some meetings with different agencies, but today they are just waiting because nobody can to give her helps.
So do several of these people here, are they going to like the service center to get vouchers so they can buy food and things of that sort?
Everything, we provide everything here.
Okay.
Everything is clean. She's lady. She's in charge.
She's in charge of the kitchen here?
The kitchen, yes.
What's for lunch today?
Let me see. What is the menu?
We have rice and sausage today.
Yeah. Beans. We have
The only thing they want is their home because they lost, most of them lost everything. They don't have where to live. They don't have where to sleep. So.
Well, we're going to keep providing as long as we can.
So. I hope so because we need it.
Again. Well, when I came here to Puerto Rico, there were a lot of barrios with no lights, no electricity. Power lines were down. There was no water. Since that time, we've seen water reestablished in major parts of the island. You look around and you see road crews working diligently to get the power lines back up. We've got water restored. So I think the people here in Puerto Rico, the authorities are doing a great job just working around the clock trying to get this island back in shape. And there's still a few areas that are without water and electricity, but it's going to be a while before they get things going right here. We're going to be here for a long time. We're going to be for a long time, and we're going to need more volunteers. We're going to need people to replace the people that are leaving after doing their 21-day tours, and we're going to have to keep on our level of operation that we're doing now, despite some of the drawbacks and some of the setbacks because of the island's infrastructure and the political thing going on. We still need to get foods out to the shelters. My information that I'm getting is that as of this day, the shelters are being broken up and the island government are building small temporary homes for them. They're still going to need food and they're still going to need to be fed. So there is a need for people to be down here to replace the people that are going back to the States. And they're, you know, I don't know how long people are going to be here. There's rumors that, you know, there's operations will be going on well until next year, Christmas, you know, who knows? There's no way of telling that. I don't know.
Assistance beyond the mass care division is controlled by the rest of the field workers under the title of Family Services. Bridging the gap between these two groups are volunteers like Murray Stout, who takes food from the warehouse for people waiting in line at service centers.
When I got here, I didn't know what my assignment would be, but I was assigned to mass care, which involves food distribution to different areas. And at this particular area is a service center where people are interviewed for their needs and this sort of thing. And our particular job at this service center is to see that people are not hungry while they're here, that they sit out in the hot sun for long periods of time, and we try to give them enough to drink and something to carry them over while they're here. Occasionally you'll have someone who gets some heat prostration, has that, and so you kind of keep your eye on things to see that things run smoothly. We were told to expect anything. And then there had already been some time passed, so we didn't need to go the sleeping bag route, which we originally thought we would do. We expected to find just about anything and to be able to cope with it. And you're told originally, be able to cope with anything that comes up. So you pack for that, you prepare for it mentally, and it still is a real experience to see what has happened and to be involved in trying to improve the situation.
2 weeks after his training in Grand Rapids, we found Julio Rios at the same service center as Murray Stout. Santurce is the second center he has organized.
Organizando los expedientes para poder visitar a las casas a las personas.
Okay, to visit the family at home. How many records we have pending for homeless from the center?
Tenemos más de 1000 récords.
We have more than 1,000?
Yes.
Okay. I think that the priority at this point is to continue developing more home visits as soon as possible. Yeah. Yes, I came here the second week after the disaster, and was a lot. I was expecting that I was finding a lot of problem in the area with no water, no electricity, and that was the real that I found. I found a lot of houses, and the county that I was working was more without electricity. A lot of houses was destroyed, especially in Loíza and Canóvanas. Was most of the 50% of the houses in the poor neighborhood was completely destroyed, total destruction. And people without food, without electricity, without homeless, and I was dealing with all of that need of that community. There are a lot of events here because when you're working with these people, most of the people, they come in crisis, they need help, and they need the help now because they doesn't have housing, they need food, and they need furniture. And you are dealing with all of this stress of all of these people. And one of my experience was, and sometimes dealing with 2,000 people asking me questions. Everybody wants to ask a question. You couldn't answer the question to the people, and sometimes you need to be so rude. Don't answer any question to them because you need to provide services as soon as possible. But I think that the people was understanding, the people was cooperative, and I think that we have control of the crowd immediately. I think that I feel so pleased with the collaboration of everybody, yeah, in the team.
I lost my house with Hugo, you know, and they have clothes and baby clothes and food and mattress, you know, like a bed. And you know, that's all. Don't have nothing. And army give the help, and the Red Cross give them to my mom clothing, shoes, food, and you know, like this for make the roof and others for construction the house.
Well, they asked me around what I lose, you know. I say my furniture, my clothes, the roof of my house, you know, and the refrigerator, a food, and washing machine, and the bed cloth I lose too.
Has the Red Cross helped you very much?
Well, I don't know yet because it's the first time that I come up here, you know. I don't know I can say no or yes because it's the first time. Probably they help me, but never I came before.
But our house, you know,
top of the ceiling flew away. It was made of wood, and part of it blew away too. And we went to a shelter. Well, the Red Cross went to where we are staying, and they gave us the address and all the paper, and sent us here. Well, we lost part of our thing, our clothes and our bed, and we came here to, get some money for it. Recover those things.
How is your family doing?
Well, we are spending well, We're in a shelter. We can't ask for more.
The plight of victims is the same wherever one goes in Hugo's wake. 3 days after their arrival, the group from West Michigan is divided, with Lupe Ocasio working in Luqueo, while Helen Quant and Leah Tobar in Fajardo. All are working as family service technicians, and all are feeling the stress of processing hundreds of claims daily.
It takes about an hour to handle a client, because we have to go through a lot of questions. And I come here, we start at 9, we open our doors at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we close them at 6. So I guess I haven't really counted how many people I see, but if you can figure, figure how many, that would be like 12 maybe.
The orientation help?
Oh, tremendously, because they taught us how to fill out these forms, and this is really the core of it, These forms, it's called Form 901, and this is where we empty everything, and we were taught, to do that there. Y en cuanto a la ropa, ¿qué habíamos dicho aquí de la ropa? Que sí, que algunas de las ropas... Entonces, ¿la casa tuya es propia o tú estás alquilando? Alquilada. ¿Estás alquilando? ¿Y alquilas sin muebles o con muebles? Sin muebles. Okay, entonces...
Okay, most of the people need clothing, food, bedding, beds, mattresses, furniture, everything. Okay, if it's shoes and clothing, we do the voucher here, if they qualify. In order to qualify, they have to have complete loss or major loss. And then we can do the vouchers here. If they have minor damage, then they receive a visitor from the office, and they make another need assessment and decide whether or not they're going to receive the help.
A lot of them don't have transportation to get to a pharmacy to renew their orders. A lot of them need basic teaching on usage of insulin. We are trying to work with the local health department on some of those things, but they certainly aren't able to do a lot of the teaching that's needed in the homes. So we're doing some of that on home visits, but also we're doing some of that right here in the service centers. We're treating a lot of severe hypertension right in the centers. A lot of people, it's such severe stress just to be here and talk about the needs and the damage that has occurred, that a lot of them are having heart problems, angina, real high blood pressure, like 240 over 110, real high.
Okay, if they receive the voucher here for food and clothing, they go happy. I can see their faces. They're, satisfied. Because they don't know, when I do the interview, they don't know if they're going to qualify or not. They come with the expectation that they're going to get something, okay? If they don't qualify, and I try to do that at the end of the interview, okay? I talk to them in a way that to smooth the negative aspect of the interview. I tell them, you're not going to receive anything now, but somebody's going to visit you, okay? And maybe you're going to qualify then. So don't get, discouraged or things like that. They live sad because, This lady yesterday, another lady, senior citizens, in her late 70s, that happened to her. She was here since early in the morning waiting. It was 4 o'clock and nobody have taken care of her. and she almost cried. She was crying at 4. You know, she was hungry, tired. The humidity here was affecting her. And, you know, she came to me and asked me, you know, when they're going to take care of me. And sometimes you ask the people around, where is the fire? And the fire is nowhere, you know, things like that. That it, you know, it shouldn't happen if we are better organized.
I think it's a very hard thing to answer because you really doesn't know what's going to happen until you are here. No matter how much money you are prepared, how much help you are prepared to have, the food is something that is only you can face when you are here. See, many people say, oh, they are so disorganized, oh, they don't know what they're doing, oh, this is this. It's very hard, and you have always to think in the type of people that we are dealing with, that they are a very different culture. They are not like us. They are people who don't like to obey orders. You tell a stay and they all come. They are like that because that's the way they are. You have to, you know, it's a very different culture. You have to be very sensitive to them, very understanding to them, very compassionate. You have to show them that you love it, that you care, that you want to help, and we all try to do that.
When there are 4,000 families affected and you have a limited amount of personnel, you need to try and deal with it as the most seriously affected barrio or area, those people being seen first, and can try and do it that way. There is no way to effectively serve 4,000 families without a large amount of personnel, and you just do the best you can.
More volunteers, definitely. We need volunteers that can work hard, and you need a lot of stamina. We're working long hours, and it's rewarding, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, more people, increasing organization is a factor. Now that it's been longer since the hurricane occurred, we have that available to us, better organization, and that's helping. But it's just it's just taking a long time. We need Spanish-speaking people. A lot of the home visits in this area, we have to have a Spanish-speaking person. So sometimes we're limited to maybe 6 people that can visit the homes. So when you have thousands of cases, it takes a while. But we're still getting new cases daily. Earlier this week, it was about 250 new ones per day. So those are all families that are needing some kind of assistance.
Yes, I think that as human beings, we have a commitment with the community, and this is the time when, in that kind of disaster, whatever your profession, whatever your commitment with the community, or your religious or your ethnic group, coming together, working together was a great experience for me. How people from a different language, like all of the people who came from America, most of them are monolingual, and they try to help these people, and sometimes they was using interpreter. In my case it was different because I'm completely bilingual. I don't have that problem, but I saw a lot of people dealing and understanding other culture and other value. I think that is a learning experience for everybody who came and has the opportunity to come to Puerto Rico. And I appreciate that the community continue working together with the Red Cross of America, because the commitment is to help other people, and without any restriction or limitation. When the need is there, the Red Cross is there too.
First and foremost is financially, because obviously the funds that we're giving the clients, or the vouchers that we're giving the clients, are good for them to purchase goods in stores, and they're all from money that the American public donates. And the other way is to be a volunteer. That's what I am at home. I volunteer at the American Red Cross. So you need to go to the local chapter of the American Red Cross, get the training, and become that volunteer, so that when we have another Hugo or another disaster of major proportion, that they can be available to come out and work.
There is fundraising. As you know, this job is costing an awful lot of money, and through the local chapter there is 1,000 jobs that they can do. One of them is to do more recruiting at the chapter level. They can get into fundraising if that's a skill. They can go and process the paperwork that we are generating here. There is, like I said, there's 1,000 jobs that they can do at the local chapter.
Despite the confusion and disorganization inherent in operations this large, all volunteers realize the need for more volunteers. There comes a point, as with Felix Ibarra, when it is time to go home, but there is never a point when the need for replacements is satisfied.
I'm glad to be going home. I've had 3 weeks here, and it's been long, hard work, and I'm just looking forward to getting back home.
Is it all over now?
Well, it's all over for me. It's not all over for the Puerto Rican people. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I think the Red Cross is going to be here for a long time.
Well, if they are interested in doing something to help people, disaster relief is happening here in the Kent County area all the time. If your house burns to the ground, you may not have a hurricane, but to the family whose house is gone, it's just as big a disaster. So we have volunteers who work providing Red Cross disaster relief assistance to fire victims. Here in Grand Rapids, probably 75 to 100 families lose their homes and furnishings in fires every year. 24 hours a day, Red Cross volunteers are on call to go and provide food, a place to stay, clothing, medical needs, get the people on the road to recovery, even though it's not on the scale of Hurricane Hugo. To the family affected, it is every bit as devastating. So that's a very important thing people can do right here.
The biggest need for the National Red Cross right now, or for the American Red Cross, even on the local level here in Kent County, I see the need broken down into 2 levels. One is the financial resources. The money that is spent when the National Red Cross helps victims of disasters, and when we help here in Kent County help victims of national disasters, we help them with food, with clothing, with shelter, with household items like bedding and linen and cooking utensils, the needs that they have to get back on their feet. The Red Cross gives them the financial resources to go and replenish this for themselves and to get back on their feet. And that all costs money, and so we have a great need for financial resources to help the victims. We also have a need for human resources. The Kent County Red Cross has been very responsive. The people in Kent County are absolutely wonderful. We have 55 volunteers now on assignment, and that is just tremendous. Our national office is looking at Kent County Red Cross going, how do you do it? Where do you get these people from? And it's just phenomenal. And the thing that is so amazing is we've had many Spanish-speaking people who have come forward, and they're now on assignment in Puerto Rico. And the National Red Cross, we've had chapters call us saying, how do you do that? Where are you getting these people? It's Kent County. It's just the people are responding. And, you know, we get the message out, and that's part of my job as the marketing and development director, is to get the message out. But it just works. I mean, the people in Kent County are responding, and it's really wonderful to see that.
Well, the most difficult thing right now is going to be to try to raise the last bit of the funds to make that quota that has been handed down to this chapter. And one of the reasons is that the Red Cross chapter was involved in its own local campaign to raise money to expand its services and to take care of some of the programs that they've been working on locally here. And then also in the middle of other national campaigns like the United Way, it's very difficult to appeal to the community while other campaigns are going, and you have to weigh all that, and that's going to be real difficult. Hopefully that we can raise the funds quickly and then help the national relief effort, and then we can go back to taking care of our local programs and the fundraising that we do locally.
I think the greatest need right now is to keep it in mind. It's one of those situations that's going to be months and months and months before they recover. It's not going to be in the headlines. Right now, it's sort of losing its news value, so to speak, but the pain and the loss and the damages will be months in recovering, and we simply have to impress on people that it's not too late to help. It's time to help right now. And every single dollar that we are collecting in the Kent County Red Cross chapter that's specified for disaster relief is sent to the centers. It doesn't stay in our chapter. We don't use this as a fundraiser for our chapter. We're a conduit, and we channel it immediately to where it's needed, and the need will be going on for months.
Disasters such as Hurricane Hugo do lose their newsworthiness, perhaps because of time passing, or perhaps because of other more recent disasters. Yet, whether one resides in the Caribbean or the West Coast, the dependence upon the Red Cross is equally great.
At this time, the financial needs are really, really great. The National Red Cross estimates that Hurricane Hugo is the largest and most costly disaster that the Red Cross has responded to in its 108-year history. And basically what it did is it wiped out the National Red Cross Disaster Reserve Fund. About 2 weeks ago, the National Red Cross initiated an emergency fundraising campaign to raise $42 million to replenish the funds in that disaster reserve. And we've been working on that. Following that, Hurricane Jerry hit. Following that, the earthquake in California hit. So you can imagine the financial drain that the Red Cross is going through right now. One very fortunate thing in terms of the earthquake is that the California Red Crosses were prepared. They had plans, disaster plans in existence. They had practice sessions constantly. That's why things are moving so smoothly out there. And the need for volunteers down the road will be stronger, I think, for them than it is right now, because they have trained volunteers who are helping right now. Once that supply of volunteers is depleted, we will be sending volunteers from other chapters, such as from Kent County.
Good morning. I am Marco A. Beteta, spelled M-A-R-C-O like Marco Polo, middle initial A like Apple, last name B like Boston, E like Echo, T like Tango, E like Echo again, T like Tango again, and A like Apple. My particular job.
G-U-A-N-I-T-A B-E-N-I-T-E-Z Theta. And the other one is M-O-G-E-C-A Mojica. Yeah.
What happened to you with the hurricane?
They're right there. I put them right there.
3 cases of money. I hope the camera doesn't.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. How you got to forget it? I tell you, 2 more days here. I just have 2 more. Don't you see that, Ginger? That's not fair. 2 more days.
That's the way I look at it too.
Oh.
¿Qué se llama? ¿Qué se llama?
Ella.
No.
Yo.
Ask her what her name is.
¿Tu nombre es? ¿Tu nombre es? ¿Ciliama?
Can hardly understand her.
Que yo amé, pedacito de patria, mi cabello blanqueó y mi vida se fue, y a la muerte me llama, y no quiero morir alejado de ti, Puerto Rico del alma.